Hi, everybody. I actually haven't watched very much during lockdown. I just wanted to be in the conversation this time instead of in the chat. I've actually been rewatching things.
Oh, we got a Dan. We just
Hi,
need
Dan.
an Ange.
Dan is frozen.
I don't think he's frozen. I think he's muted. Or maybe he's very still. No,
Very.
He's definitely frozen. You're muted there, Dan.
You'd think I'd know how to do this by now.
There's a reason that You're Muted is still on everyone's bingo card for 2022.
Yep.
I think it still happens like at least once every day
Yep.
in work meetings for me.
Indeed.
Hold on. I have to help Ange get in. So I'm going to be replaced by the actual panelist.
I will go get us more tea, and then I won't be in the background.
It's a ghost panelist.
It's a ghost panelist.
Ghost.
It's a spooky ghost.
Ghost panel.
You're
Aw,
plugged in.
I know. Sorry. I was hoping I could get all the way around to the other. But I'm going to go make us tea. Do you want to hand me the pot?
Dave's back. Dave needs brown morning potion. Yes, he does.
I think it's more of an orangey tint with this one, I think.
Okay.
Amy's going to make us more tea, is what's happening behind me.
Ah. Everybody's staying hydrated. That's good.
Unless you're asking about what's going on behind me now, which is nothing. There's not even a cat there. There's usually a cat there.
We came for the cat.
There you go.
Oh, the ears you saw was that ridiculous wig that Amy was talking about in the cosplay panel earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Hooray!
Yay! Okay.
Hooray!
Yay! Yay! It worked.
Hooray!
Yay! Okay.
Hooray.
Yay! Planning for this blanket fight.
Yay!
Yes, we are all planning for tomorrow's blanket.
Yay!
Yes, we are all planning for tomorrow's blanket.
Yay!
Yes, we are all planning for tomorrow's blanket.
Yay!
Yes, we are all.
Echoes.
That's a lot of echo.
It was a lot of echo.
Sorry, I
And the
think
look of horror on Ange's face.
that's
Crap,
me.
is that me?
Yeah, it is.
What did I touch?
No, I didn't touch. Okay, I do have magnet fingers, but I didn't touch anything. It's just that I
Uh-huh.
have the Twitch chat up beside the screen, but I keep forgetting to turn the sound off on the Twitch screen, so then we could talk here, but I can see that.
Mhm.
So
Fine.
complicated today to
It
do.
is.
Complicated. It's fine. I don't want to talk to people. People are calling me constantly. It's like they know it's kanji and I'm busy and I'm trying to hang out with people, and they're calling me endlessly today.
You hit end call.
Yeah, but it's my in-law, so I have to be like, oops. I
And you
dropped
hit
the ball.
end call.
Dropped the ball. Your phone was charging. That's what I always do.
Yep.
My phone wasn't. Oh,
Or I'm in a basement. I don't get signal. Sorry.
Yep.
I mean, I could move to the murder basement if that's where we wanted to do this panel, but
Maybe if you were doing like a horror panel, that'd be a great place to do it.
Oh, can we do a horror panel?
yeah, we can do a horror panel. I'm down. I got dead animals all over this place. And really I will have nothing to contribute to a horror panel, but I'll just sit here and listen.
Okay.
Okay.
I will hide.
No.
Ange and I still have to have our horror marathon at some point.
Yeah, we do. The closest I got to horror this year was someone recommended Lock and Key to me, so I watched the first 2 episodes and then noped out. I was like,
Noped out?
nope.
All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about what we watched during quarantine part 78 million,
Yeah.
I believe. Or lockdown, or just COVID.
Which I feel like would be not that much different than what I would normally watch anyways, but
Yep.
I actually finished shows, though, during this half. Like, since last year, I've actually watched shows to completion, which is more than I can say for any other time in my life.
There was time enough at last.
Or just boredom enough, I guess. Like, Dave and I kind of talked about this last night during Superhero Burnout. I hardly ever finish any series that I start. It takes a lot.
I couldn't do that. I'd be left hanging and be like, how does it end? Regardless of how bad the ending is, I need to finish.
Yeah.
Need that
I don't
closure.
know, though. Sometimes I wish I hadn't watched the ending. Like Battlestar Galactica, I'm looking at you.
That.
Yeah. But it was such a good show right up to that moment. At least it wasn't a whole last season. At least it wasn't a whole last season that was terrible. It was just the last hour.
Okay, so I know that we threw this together at the last minute, and basically we all went, yeah, sure, we'll be on a panel. So let's throw this together in some amount of order. Dan, would you like to tell us the best and the worst of what you have watched in the last year?
Well, Dave, can you just explain why?
I kind of like everything that I've seen. The best, though,
You just say, like...
probably a toss-up between... We were talking a little bit about horror earlier. I've watched the first season of the Chucky series because I'm a big fan of the films, and it's an actual continuation of the films that have been going on since the 80s, so it's all the same story. And the first season is so fantastic because Brad Dourif is back doing it. Don Mancini is back at the helm writing it. It's a great inclusive story about like a killer doll and everything that is causing mayhem and whatnot, but it's very inclusive. So it's a toss-up between that. I really love that. And my girls also got me on... we were talking a little bit about this in the Discord. People were popping off about Ghosts, which is a fantastic British comedy about this young couple that inherits a haunted mansion, but it's haunted by like all these ghosts that are very... They're from different time periods. So there's like a caveman ghost, there's like a Victorian era ghost, there's like a slick-backed 80s scumbag businessman ghost, and they're all bumbling ghosts. Like they're not scary at all. They're just like bumbling around for eternity and causing mayhem. And
There's only one scary scene.
Yeah, one of the two characters of the two young couples suffers like a head injury at the beginning of the first episode, and she can see and communicate with them, but nobody else can. And hilarity ensues for the rest of the 2 seasons. And it is a great, it's really great British humor.
There's
Very
an American version now too, which I have not
Doesn't surprise me, and it's probably not as good.
But the British version is available for free on CBC if you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh, okay, that's great. That's actually something I know it's funny because I watched like half of the first episode and then I don't even know why I only saw half of it. But basically I just never picked it up again. So now I'll have to watch it because Dan recommended it, clearly. Yeah. Terry, the best and the worst of what you've watched in the last year.
Trying to remember. I don't know. I don't know that I've watched anything truly bad. I've been catching up on a lot of the new Star Trek because everyone I know is talking about it, and so I just want to be in the loop so I can have conversations about it. I didn't like season 1 of Disco, but season 2 and 3 have both been really solid. Like I'm glad I stuck with it. And Prodigy is so fun. It's like Star Wars, Star Trek. Like I think there's a really Star Wars feel to it, but it's within the Star Trek universe. And Lower Decks is just awesome.
Hilarious.
I have been meaning to watch Orville because I know Orville is freaking phenomenal, and I just have not.
I don't know where to get that.
I finally caught one season of it, and I definitely have to keep going. It is a hilarious show. You can tell that Seth MacFarlane is a massive Trekkie while adding, because it's almost like people were almost saying when Orville came out that it was more Trek than Disco when it first came out, that it seemed more back to its classic roots and just a lot of fun. And I enjoyed it immensely as a standalone sci-fi fun show. So
probably the worst thing I've watched is I decided to take a foray into the Corner Gas animated series because I really liked the original series. It does not hold up, guys. I'm sorry. It was not good. It was just one of those things where I was like, I'm doing the dishes. I want to have something on in the background, and I was like, not this. Something different from this.
This is not what I actually wanted.
It just reminded me of something that I just
went and rewatched the original series instead. Sorry, Dan, what were you saying?
I just got it in my head about something that I remember starting to watch and didn't like and had to turn off immediately. But I will wait for it to come back around to me.
Okay, Dave.
Oh yeah, Picard. Yeah, Picard is also one that I'm looking forward to the next season of. So
Yes, Picard has been good. I've been enjoying that. So, you have been sort of catching up on all the Star Trek series because I enjoy them. I introduced my 6-year-old son to the Star Trek world through Prodigy. He thought some scenes were a little too scary for him, but he's kind of a big wuss when it comes to certain shows anyways. So, but he's the first show that he's ever asked me to keep watching. So I thought that I've kind of hit the mark on something that he actually is keenly interested in. Even if he hides around the corner for certain scenes, he does sort of enjoy it because he knows absolutely nothing of the Star Trek universe. He knows a bit about Star Wars just because of like kiddie books and stuff like that we've had. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't make it through the movie either, but he knows a little bit more about Star Wars than Star Trek. In terms of good things I've really enjoyed, I was able to catch up. I was a little behind when I caught up with The Boys, just because it was such an intriguing take on the superhero, like what happens if these superheroes just unleashed, right? Like had no moral code whatsoever, or at least their morality was based on a corporate policy. I just thought the premise was amazing. I've never read the graphic novels or anything like that. I might have to go back and do that. Good Omens, really, really enjoyed that. I can't remember if that came out during. I think that did. I can't remember. It's all a blur. But really, really enjoyed that. Love David Tennant.
Is there a second season of that out yet?
It's coming. Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. So that's why that popped back in my head because I hadn't even thought about it for a little while. I think one of my favorite things that I've watched so far was the reboot for Lost in Space. I grew up watching like the classic Lost in Space. My dad loved campy sci-fi, campy robot stuff, whatever you name it. I've watched it all. Trying to go back and watch Lost in Space now, it's really hard. But it's like I do enjoy the actors and I know where they went with their careers and they all had pretty decent careers and stuff like that. But the reboot, I watched the movie. I remember seeing the movie. I think it was the 90s that it came out. A lot of people hated it. The critics hated it. It kind of wasn't a great movie. The CG was, looking back at it, was terrible. But I still think it was a pretty fun take. I think it captured a lot of the essence of what Lost in Space was kind of about. Then it kind of went off in a kind of a weird direction, but that's besides the point. But the reboot, though, fantastic casting, fantastic effects. Like, it's just been a really, really fun show to watch with a lot of nods to both the movie and the original series, which I thought was kind of nice. A little nostalgia in there. But just a really good, like, family show, I think, in my opinion. In terms of worst, I don't know. We went back. I was really excited when Young Justice came back. It was sort of online, but I wasn't crazy about this newest season. I tended to really like its format when it first came out. Not crazy about it now. I don't know. I'm a big fan of The Flash, and I just found the last season of The Flash was kind of a bit of a stretch. But I got Legends of Tomorrow to kind of back me up there, so that was been pretty good.
Are you reading a list?
Well, I'm looking at my list I had from before. So Linz and I have like a viewing list, if you will, to get like that we're sort of getting through, and it helps me remind me of what things I've actually watched because I have watched so much.
I have a whiteboard. Oh my god, Pete, wow. You're so organized with what you watch. What the hell?
Someone earlier mentioned Snowpiercer in the comments. I did enjoy like the original movie, and I started watching the series. I kind of enjoyed the first season. This current season, I'm having a lot of trouble kind of getting into. I mean, I love Sean Bean, and I love the characters in it, but it's just I don't know. The writing hasn't caught me so much.
Sean Bean is still alive?
He is.
Not for very long.
Not for very long. He's playing a bad character. He's going to get it eventually. But he's made it through, was it 2-3 seasons now? Something like that?
That's a lot longer than Sean Bean has made it through pretty much anything else, let's be honest.
Well, maybe it's in his contract now that he's got to survive every third thing or something like that.
It could be. Maybe he's sick of dying and he's forced to
live. Corey Paz mentioned Doctor Who. So Lindsay and I are big fan of Doctor Who. I go back way farther than Lindsay does. I've watched almost every original piece of Doctor Who media that I can that I could get my hands on. My dad was a huge Doctor Who fan, so right back to the original, whatever's left from the big fire that burned all the original Doctor Who stuff. You can still find some of it or scattered about, or clips of it or whatever online. All through the rebooted stuff, I've really enjoyed it. We have not gotten into the new Doctor. I mean, to be fair, we haven't really given her much time. But I don't know if anybody else could comment on that. But we haven't really. I think we've watched like 1 or 2 episodes into the new Doctor, and we're kind of like
the new Doctor just because she's a woman.
What's that?
I have to like the new Doctor just because.
Well, we were really trying, but I don't think the writers are giving her a chance. I think she's a really good actress, but I don't think
the writing is not
balls. Some of the writing is complete balls. But Matt really likes the new Doctor. Like, he's really enjoying it. I don't know. He's caught up to it. Like he keeps up with the next.
Kind of how we felt about Capaldi. It's like Capaldi is a phenomenal actor, and we found that some of the writing for the show just wasn't there.
I really wanted Capaldi to pull out his shitty old man act. Also, guys, I'm sorry, this isn't PG-13, but like Capaldi in other shows where he can just pull out some of the worst lines on the planet. I was like, I kind of wanted like a jerky old doctor, like somebody who was really just not like the Christopher Eccleston curmudgeon, but like straight up just somebody you're like, man, are you supposed to save the galaxy? Like, what the hell? But that's not.
So, I hear that Rusty is coming back to do the final episodes with the current Doctor, and I don't know how I feel about that because Rusty's kind of canceled. So, yeah. But on the other hand, he's good at what he does. So,
did not know. Okay, just for continuing on here, I have only finished watching Star Wars stuff. But one of the shows that no spoilers. One of the shows that I did actually just start watching that I'm really enjoying is a foreign show on Netflix. It's called The Silent Sea. And it's a little bit campy. It's a little bit old school sci-fi, but it's basically like they're out of water on Earth, so they sent them up to space on the space station on the moon. It's Chinese, and there's a lot of like
on the moon.
But it's called lunar water. So this is the thing. This is where the camp comes in. It's a really 1960s sci-fi sort of campy.
Oh
premise.
boy!
It's a lot of cloak and dagger, a lot of evil corporate stuff. It's a little bit. There's a little bit of something in there, sort of like Daybreakers. If anybody remembers that.
I remember Daybreakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit of that kind of camp where they're trying to make it horrific, but at the same time, there's just like the premise isn't even that odd, but the execution of the premise, you're like, okay, so it could have gone here, but you guys took it here. Yep. And now there's this thing on the moon with this stuff, and you're like, okay, sure, lunar water is actually a virus. That's fine. We'll just carry on with that. It's just, it's Korean. Thank you, Manpans, for correcting me. I thought I was reading up on it, and somebody had said it was Chinese, so that's my bad. It's Korean. But anyways, it's great. It's the end result. Everybody should go and watch Silent Sea. I'm really enjoying it. I'm like banging through it. I watch it when I'm at my part-time job online, so it's quite good. Nice. And the other thing, but what I've watched that I really could not even make it through was what is the name of it? It was supposed to be a serial killer show. I might actually have to open up Netflix and look it up. It was supposed to be a serial killer show, and I'm sorry, guys. Like, I really am a serial killer podcast kind of girl these days. And it was just wretched. And I started to watch it, and I'm like, nope, they're setting this up for failure right away. Like, I'm not even going to enjoy this. I already know what the serial killer is, what they're doing. And it was just one of those things where I could already, like, get to the end of the show and be like, nah. Like, I don't even need to watch the rest of this. This is awful. So, but again, we talked about this in Superhero Burnout. If I can guess your premise in the first 3 seconds, I'm probably not going to watch it.
It wasn't only murders in the building, was it?
It might have been.
Because that one, I actually really enjoyed that one, but I'm not into crime drama. I think the reason I enjoyed it was because they were kind of not exactly spoofing that, but it almost to the level of spoofing it. Like, it was more about the interpersonal stuff, and it was very interesting the way that they did it.
This is probably going to get me shot in the stream, but it was Mindhunters. I really didn't like Mindhunters. I just did not enjoy it. I didn't like. I liked the idea of it and the premise of it, but the execution of it, I was like, am I watching like a bad take on Mad Men? Am I watching a bad take on Suits? Like, what is this? And it turned out to be more of a cop drama, and I was just like, It just did not tickle me whatsoever. Yeah. Anyways, okay, carrying on. So Dan, what about what we've watched in the last year? Because lockdown, not lockdown, not lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
What has kept you going? Has it been watching new things or rewatching things you love?
Kind of a combination of both. Like I've got the hard drive space for a lot of old shows just stacked on it and everything. So I store everything that I watch. And, you know, if I need a good couple of weeks or so to just get through I just need to get through those weeks or whatever, I'll fire up some old cartoons or I'll put House on again and go through all seasons of that or whatever. But it's a combination, like I said, of that. Plus I try to check out new stuff as well. A good thing and a bad thing that I've seen recently. I got really bummed out by a series that was a spin-off series of an old series that I really love. There was an old Adult Swim animated series called Harvey Birdman. Yes. It's fantastic, everything. And they did a spin-off on it centered around Birdgirl, who was one of my favorite characters in that show because it was Patchett Brewster does the voice of it. She was very animated and so fantastic. So they did a spin-off of it, and I watched the first episode, and it's a completely same voice actress, but a completely different character and a completely different kind of show. It was one of the it reminded me of. I don't want to be mean to a lot of new stuff that comes out on Adult Swim, but a lot of new stuff that comes out on Adult Swim doesn't see the light of day for a reason, and it was reminding me of that. And it was very unfortunate that my beloved Birdgirl got lumped in with that kind of thing. So that was kind of upsetting, but you know, I just go back and watch the original Birdman cartoons, and everything is fine again. It's because she was fantastic in that. But yeah, new stuff, old cartoons, new cartoons, old live action stuff. I'm trying to get away from watching more and more animated stuff, but it's just like all the animated stuff is so good. Like I saw Arcane. Arcane was fantastic. Some of the best animation I've seen outside of like Disney or Japan. And that was fantastic. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep getting pulled back into animation. But every now and then I got to step away from it and watch something that isn't animation. Like I went through a series, I think it was a Netflix series, I think that was based off a podcast called Archive 81, which people were throwing that at me because they know I'm a video editor. And it's like, you'll love this. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And I started watching. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty much my thing. Okay. But
it's
good.
Magnus Archives
story.
Light. Magnus Archives Light.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I did the whole first season of it. I did not like how the first season ended. I thought it ended kind of weak. But if they did a second season of it, I would watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Agree. All right,
Lindsay
Terry
really wants everyone to watch Centaur Worlds. Just gonna put that out there for her benefit.
Lindsay, what the hell?
I won't watch that one.
It is so me, though.
It is.
It is so me. It is,
but also
full
so
of crack, and
like,
the animation is awesome, and it has some really creepy shit in it.
But Lindsay does surprise us every now and again. Like you liked Archer, which is not a show I would have pegged you as a show that you like, and like she's watched it all.
Seems like a Lindsay show to me.
No, but she really enjoyed it. And I've been trying to work my way through the newest season. That's a slow go for me, but.
I thought that show wrapped up by now. They must be on to like season 10 of that show.
12 seasons.
12?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like Venture Brothers.
I haven't watched any of the newer stuff.
Have you guys watched any of the like
back
Disenchantment? Like the new Matt Groening one, the Disenchantment or whatever.
No, Matt's been trying to get me to watch it for like 89 years, and honestly, if I started watching it after this panel, he'll probably murder me and hide my body. Because I've been avoiding it, and not out of spite, but guys, I don't get into these long shows. Like Hannibal, for like rewatching stuff for me, Hannibal was like my bread and butter. 14 episodes of really great, well-written story.
Altered Carbon was the one for me.
Yes.
The first season.
Yes.
Yep, and also the Dracula short, the 4-episode Dracula miniseries, freaking phenomenal.
See, that's why Netflix right now is perfect for you, because everything that's coming out of Netflix are all of these really short, quick seasons, right? Like these quick shows. Like they don't have the big long formats anymore.
No, but I do block myself from some things. Like, okay, so I haven't finished or watched the new season of The Witcher, despite how much I love it. I haven't done it yet because I'm like, I'm going to get too emotionally invested in this show, and I actually can't afford that right now. I have work and school to do. I can't be sidelined by my unreasonable attraction to this story.
It's only 8 episodes, though, or something, right?
Yeah.
The hardest thing about my last month has not being having enough time to like watch The Witcher. Every time I have to stop at the end of an episode, it is physically painful.
Yeah.
I still have 2 episodes left to go because I just haven't had time to binge the whole thing, even though it's only 8 episodes.
Right?
So yes, I feel your.
It took us a while to
longer.
get to start it, and then we I think the last 2 weeks we finished it. So
Okay, so going back to the original question, Terry, has it been new things or rewatching your fave things? What's gotten you through the last year? And combo of both, as Dan pointed out, is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, so I'm not really a rewatch kind of person. I feel like there is so much stuff out there to watch that it's a waste of my time to watch something that I've already seen. But that being said, I have gone back to a few things. Yeah, Dan's shaking his head. I know, this is a really weird hang up that
You gotta have your comfort food. Sure,
Right? Your
whatever.
popcorn. You need your popcorn.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I get it. Lots of people feel that way. I just, whenever someone suggests that we watch something that I've already seen, I'm like, I have better things to do with my time.
Terry's so cutthroat. Oh my
Wow.
God.
But that being said, I have gone back to a few things this year, and it has been a bit cathartic just to be like, I know I like this. I'm just looking for background noise. I don't actually need to watch it. So I'm just going to put this on. Like I said, I rewatched all of Corner Gas after discovering that the animated series was not good. And I was like, wow, I forgot a lot of what was going on in this. We went back to the beginning of Orphan Black because we never watched season 5, and Orphan Black is available for free on CTV right now. So we started rewatching that, and I was like, oh yeah, this show's really good. And I do not remember what happened in it at all. So
That could be the benefit of going back and watching something you've
every single anime I think I've ever watched, I have no idea how it ends. Anything. You can go back and be like, I don't remember how that show ended at all. I could have enjoyed it immensely and have no clue what happened. I really like Trigun. I have no idea how it ended.
It's called Trigun.
Doesn't he turn into like a giant big gun or something like that? Yeah, see, I remember bits and pieces. But
I've never watched it, and I'm already confused.
Yeah.
This is
And there's donuts. I like donuts. Donuts are good.
It's Yashiro Naito. It's just big guns all the time.
Jesus. All right, Dave, what have you been rewatching?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Terry. There are a lot of things that I really have enjoyed watching because I mean, kind of like you being picky and choosy with certain like superhero stuff. I'm kind of picky and choosy with certain like historical dramas and things like that I enjoy watching. But I rarely ever go back and watch them. Like I absolutely loved Black Sails. I loved Spartacus. I loved a lot of those types of shows. I don't think I've ever gone back to rewatch them as much as I really enjoyed. Well, that's just it. All the stuff that I really enjoy would take me a long time to get through. The only thing that I can think of maybe in recent memory, maybe in the last 5 years, that I went back to rewatch was, I think, right before some of the new Star Trek came out. I just did a Star Trek marathon from start to finish. I watched like Enterprise original series all the way through, right through to Voyager, all that. And so I rewatched the entire thing, and then I was done.
Wow.
Right, and then I was like, and that's what I did. It's the only thing that I've ever sort of like rewatched. I might rewatch Babylon 5 if that reboot comes out, just because I'm curious about that, because it's the original, right? Like the original creator is on board for this reboot, which I think is kind of a very unique. It's a very unique situation because how many shows that have been rebooted? I mean, there's been a lot. How many of them have the original creator on board rebooting it? It's like a reimagination of their own stuff. And that doesn't happen very often, if ever, right? So it's almost like a writer going back and going, I want to redo things, but I also kind of want to make it a sequel, but kind of make it a prequel. Like, I don't even know what they're planning on doing, but the concept has interested me. But
I would be only afraid of that from a creative standpoint, as somebody involved in the creative world, of them being too precious to let the ideas evolve. They'd put like limitations or now some authors and writers could be really good about that, but sometimes like it's your baby and somebody's coming in here and like giving it some sort of like genetic upgrade.
Yeah, but there's lots of authors that can go back and be like, I wish there was stuff I could have changed about that, and now they have an opportunity to do that. So
I feel like if there is one writer or a TV show out there who has never betrayed me, it is Michael Straczynski. So
that's fair.
I'm happy that he is involved in his own product.
It's not just involved. Like, he's the one that kind of pushed the whole concept of the entire new show. Like, it's not even somebody approaching going, hey, can we use your material? No, it's like him going, I want a new show. So
yeah, when I heard that there was a new one coming out, I went, I don't think I ever finished watching the last season of the old one because I got so betrayed by the end of the third season. but I decided I should go back and watch it, and I can't find it. It's not out there.
Yeah,
So
my sister has all the
streaming
seasons. But,
services have to figure, like, some streaming service has to be smart enough to know that the hype that he's generating about a new show, they should pick up the old one because there's money there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and the fact that NASA wants to use his design for a legitimate space vehicle, an actual what do you call it, maintenance vehicle, and call it a Star Fury and stuff like that.
The future is now.
Yeah, like it's like a legit plan through NASA. They actually have designs already drawn up, and they're working with engineers to come up with a legit vehicle that looks like Star Fury.
You know why? Because NASA is now just full of like new age nerds.
Oh, absolutely.
They're like all watching this stuff. They're like, hell yeah, we can build that. Let's go. And they're all like, getting off on like all like watching The Expanse, everything. They're like, yeah, we can totally do that. Let's go, guys. And they go to their little NASA lab and like start building this stuff.
But in terms of like stuff, like I'm watching mostly new stuff because new stuff, I'm getting bombarded with new stuff, and I am trying to be picky and choosy. If I see something that comes across like my screen for like on Netflix, some kind of new historical drama, something like that, I'll definitely look into it, or I'm excited about it. I also kind of like the silly shows like Space Force. I thought was hilarious, and now it's got a new season coming. But things like that. But I don't know.
What is Space Force?
It's a Steve Carell parody about creating like a sixth branch of the military, about going like. You know how like they announced that they were coming up. You remember how they announced they were coming up with another branch of the military that would be focused on space?
On that?
So they made not only that, but they were so fast at getting the material to Netflix with their licensing and stuff like that. That things like their uniforms and the titles and all the information they used in the show is copyrighted. So the U.S. military can't even use it.
So good.
They were so fast to get it out.
Faster than the government.
That they got all these copyrights that the government's like, well, I guess we can't use that and we can't use this.
God.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Steve Carell was sitting on that button. He was like, all right, you ready? Copyright. Like, let's go.
It's an entertaining show. It's worth a watch at least once. So.
That's awesome. I think everybody knows I'm just a rewatcher at this point. I know where my safe, happy popcorn shows are and what I can rewatch like endlessly. And that goes for the same for movies. I will have a couple of new things that I watch, but generally it's all stuff I've seen before. So like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, Hannibal, the first 3 seasons of Criminal Minds until I get really sick and tired of what they're doing to read. And then I stop watching it. And then I rewatch like, oh gosh, I don't even know. Just really whatever I can get my hands on. Sometimes I'll go back and watch like seasons of Doctor Who, like from Eccleston or Tennant. And what is LOVM? What is that?
Vox Machina.
Oh no. Okay. True. I absolutely dislike listening to other people play RPGs. I love playing RPGs. I know it's super popular and everything right now. I don't want to hear it.
They're talking about the animated.
This is the animated series, though.
I know there's an animated series. Matt watches it. Matt watches everything. Matt should be on this panel, not me. But he hates being in front of people. But it's more like. So I was on a Twitch stream for an RPG at one point, and it's just I don't want to listen to it anymore. But that's just me. Yeah. So the new stuff is what I already told you guys, and what's gotten me through this is basically rewatching my favorites, and then trying my hardest to be open-minded about watching stuff outside of the Marvel verse in terms of like new shows and new content. So I have been trying a lot of shows. I did start watching The Expanse. I did start watching a lot of the sci-fi shows on Netflix. And once Disney Plus got the Star, is that what is on? That's what's
Star.
on Disney Plus?
That's all the Fox stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started going,
Fox. I mean, X-Files, guys, I'm going to be X-Files diehard till the day I die. I will rewatch X-Files forever because Gillian Anderson is just so good. But yeah, and Dragon Prince, I watched the first season and that was good, but that one chick with the Scottish accent drives me up the freaking wall. I do not know if I will ever be able to finish that series because she makes me crazy pants. I can't listen to her.
You know what though? That's a valid point though about the voices, because we were super excited about like the Transformers like reboot that they kind of did. You know how they did that sort of short series about Transformers that came on Netflix, I think it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the voices just it killed us. Like we really, like the animation was good. The story wasn't that bad. It brought back a lot of nostalgia because the characters all looked the way they're supposed to from Generation 1 and all that. But they couldn't afford
they chose to do non-union.
Yeah, they chose to do non-union actors, so they like kind of got people that sort of sounded the same. But,
awful.
But then when they got to like the Beast Wars characters or whatever in it, it was like it was all just terrible. It completely ruined the experience because the characters look cool and the story wasn't that bad, but the voices it just completely ruined it.
Ears are always more critical than your eyes.
Actually, yes. And as somebody who does essay reviews for a living right now, 100%. If I read something out loud, I know if it's wrong. But I was going to say too, as far as voice acting goes, nothing's ever going to beat for me Castlevania, mostly because the voice actor they got to play Dracula I was like, actually, that's probably how I think Dracula would probably sound. Like in terms of voice and timbre and everything, I was like, no, that's probably pretty close. And it's the same with podcasts. Like, I'm a very audio type like person, and so if the voices don't match what I have in my head, this sounds so snobby. I'm such a snob, guys. I'm sorry. And yeah, so I don't. So as long as the voices match what I have in my head, I can listen to it or I can watch it or put it on in the background and it's all gravy. But as soon as I hear a voice that like gets under my skin, I'm like, nope, that's the end of that. We're done with that. And anyways, that's all I have to say about that.
No, and I agree with you about the one character in Dragon Prince. I find it very painful, but her accent does improve. I think she must get coaching because it is better in the second season. Yeah. It's still not great.
Yeah, it wanes a little bit too. So yeah. It's. I think the rest of the story allows for you to kind of deal with it. So,
yeah.
Okay, so now those were like the 3 questions I had planned for this because I wasn't really supposed to moderate.
Thank you for planning questions.
I try. I do try to moderate stuff. So maybe the question is there stuff we're looking?
I really like the new Spider-Man movie. I know Andrew's gonna hate me.
Why?
I haven't seen it yet.
Neither have
I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it. I can't pass any judgment just because I don't like Peter Parker, and I can't say that too loud because Matt really loves Peter Parker. Just because I think Peter Parker's a douche canoe doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the occasional Spider-Man movie. Honestly, Tobey Maguire movie 2, Doc Ock, I freaking love it. Like
aside from Into the Spider-Verse, I would argue that this latest Spider-Man movie is probably the best one I think I've seen.
The Spider-Verse is pretty
because I've liked the last 2 quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about TV shows. We haven't really talked about movies. Have there been movies that have come out in the last year that have really like gotten?
That I've seen? No.
Dune.
Terry, nope, that's it. Done.
For me, it was Dune. From the moment that they went in, I heard about it going into production. I was a little apprehensive from the very beginning, but when I started reading out more about the production and knew about the director and all that, I was very excited from the very beginning.
I'm waiting for it to come to something that I can watch it.
That's the one I think lockdown movie I think we've seen because I really needed to see it in theaters, and I'm glad that we went and there was there was like one person else in the theater
before the theater.
Oh yeah, before they closed the theaters for the second time. Yeah, so we went to a really big screen, saw it big, like just the way I wanted to. I enjoyed it a lot. So being a big Dune universe fan.
I've heard really great things. I am excited to watch it.
I'm not a Dune person. I actually never got into that, which seems really weird because I read a ton of like old school sci-fi when I was in high school. I live out in the middle of nowhere, guys. We didn't have a lot of new sci-fi coming in. So like my introduction to sci-fi was like Isaac Asimov and everybody around him. So it's a surprise I didn't get into Frank Herbert because actually that would have been really on point for what I was reading at the time, but I really didn't. So I haven't seen any of the movies really. But I will say like the new movies that have come out that I've really enjoyed have definitely been Suicide Squad 2. John Cena did such a good job with his character. I was mad at him. And there are very few actors who get their character done so well that I hate them on principle for how they've enacted a character.
Well, it's a good thing he's got a TV show now.
But he made me so mad. He made me so mad in that movie. I was so pissed at him. Anyways, but like, that's like at the level of the poor lady who played Dolores Umbridge and is now universally hated by the entire globe for being Dolores Umbridge. She did such a good job at that characterization that everybody's like, wow,
Well,
you're just
Joffrey Baratheon left acting entirely. So
not because people hated him or
Yeah,
anything.
not
He just
because-
was like
but it
he
was
wanted to do other things. But it does
helped.
seem kind of a little sus that that coincidentally he left after playing the biggest douchebag in that entire show. But he was also very young. I think he wanted to like pursue other things and do stuff like other than that.
which is fair.
Yeah.
Very,
Well, I
very.
think he even said, like, I was happy to fall on this sword so that no one who actually wanted an acting career would have to.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
people bounce back, like the actor that played Draco Malfoy. Like, a lot of people hated him, and now he's got a pretty decent career going for
Oh,
himself.
but he turned into such a sweetheart. Everybody knew he was a sweetheart in real life. Tom.
I'm really glad that the Twilight actors seem to have managed to reboot.
They've
their
done
career
really
after-
well. Really well.
Can I also say I appreciate the fact that What's His Nuts is like, I will mess up Batman for you so badly, you're gonna cry bat tears. If
That-
Because I live for that kind of like eat it kind of resistance. And I think too, it's really important to mention that Kristen Stewart is like actually phenomenal.
Well, she's really good.
She's a fantastic, and she's funny, and everybody's like, oh, she's like a two. And when Twilight came out, just because I hated the franchise, I really hated on Kristen Stewart. However, I got to know her in other things. I was like, actually, you're phenomenal. And I totally changed my mind because Twilight is not a good base for judging how people were supposed to act.
She had a good underwater horror movie at some point that I thought she was rocking like her best Ripley in, because it was like a whole movie of just being underwater, being surrounded by like underwater eldritch monsters and whatnot, and she's just trying to survive and whatnot, and she was fantastic because very subdued performance, but you kind of needed it from that.
That sounds awesome.
It was.
So movies, Dan, what movies came out this year that really got you going?
Well, I see a lot of commercials at my job for movies, but I don't usually let that influence. I just go and see what I want. I don't think I think I might have to put a helmet on and duck and cover as soon as I mention Encanto, because everybody's going to blow up about that. Because like Disney's been on fire with a lot of their animated stuff for the last, but that one blew up. Like it is, even to this day, it is dominating all the algorithms on every social media, TikToks, YouTube essays, reaction videos. It's everywhere, especially the songs.
Yep.
Like it was ginormous. I don't know
haven't
anybody.
seen it yet.
I know.
That's what I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, if you do see it, you're going to want to show it to your kids immediately.
Oh, they've
and
already
you're
seen
gonna
it.
hate
I
yourself.
haven't.
Okay, well, it's like that's one that knocked out of the. They haven't knocked one out of the park like that since probably Moana or maybe even Frozen. You know, so that's the caliber of that one. So that one, you can't avoid it, really. It's everywhere, and you shouldn't, because it's fantastic. And it was really good for me to see that one too, because I was coming off of the finale of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So seeing, Rosa now transitioning into this main central character of this phenomenal show was perfect, because I was sad because I'm missing all of my Brooklyn Nine-Nine characters, but now they're moving on to some of the things.
Speaking of Stephanie Beatriz, the first thing I saw her in after Brooklyn Nine-Nine was the In the Heights. Her character in the Heights is
so different.
So different.
So different.
I was like, wow, this actress has range.
She's all over the place and doing interviews and whatnot. If you can find interviews where somebody asks her to do the Rosa voice, it's just like she turns on a switch, but it is night and day, because she just it's like her entire persona drops 6 feet when she turns into Rosa. Everything about her just goes, her voice goes down, her demeanor goes down, and she just drops right into it. And it's hilarious because afterwards she just flips a switch and she's right back to bouncy Stephanie Beatriz again.
Someone who follows actors more than I do was saying that her personality is much closer. Her actual personality is much closer to her In the Heights character than to Rosa, which makes good. Yeah.
So that was the big one that I think has been carrying me to this day, because I spend a lot of time also watching a lot of social media, like reaction videos and stuff like that, and a lot, like I said, that's the big thing in the algorithm right now, because nothing else is really plugged into that. So it's the big thing still going through all the algorithms. So it's popping up all the time. Here's this person doing like covers of the songs and reactions to the songs and whatnot, and I eat that stuff up.
Have you seen the ones where it's this girl and she's pretending to be who's the one with the super hearing? what is her name?
Dolores.
Dolores. She's pretending to be Dolores and listening to Bruno doing his little rat dramas. And she's like, no, what happened next? And Abuela is like, she's like, Dolores, can you do this? And Dolores is like, just wait a second. Oh my God, that was his sister. And like, it is so, those are the funniest.
Like I said, it's plugged into the algorithm right now. So people are going to do reaction videos. They're going to do spin-offs. They're going to do covers. Yeah. It's going to be the next time we all make it to Disneyland, the Encanto section, it's going to be its own park at Disneyland. You know, it's going to be Casita Land, you know, where the whole part of that land is just a gigantic outdoor casita with like everything moves around and whatnot.
The
like,
whole village. They could build a whole village.
They could.
Out of that, it would be just as big as Harry Potter World.
Making like putting a ride behind the casita, so the lineup is in the casita, would just be amazing. Like for anyone who's been to Harry Potter World, half of the fun of going on the ride there is just walking through the castle to get to the ride.
They started that with Tower of Terror, right?
Yeah,
like, walk through the Tower of Terror.
I'm actually a little sad that they've changed it because the old one was like the line was so cool.
Yeah.
The Indiana Jones temple's pretty great too.
I never went on that one. Okay, Terry, movies. What have you seen that's kept you going this year? I know you said not a lot, but like, come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I was just talking about In the Heights, so watched that one. I also liked the Tick Tick Boom, so I guess I've just been watching all of Lin-Manuel Miranda's stuff.
The man can do no wrong. And I remember encountering him in the one episode of House that he played a small bit character in. And then later when Hamilton blew up, I'm like, it's that guy?
Okay, before I knew that Bruno was played by John Leguizamo, I thought it was Lin-Manuel Miranda. I'm like, wow, he's really done himself dirty here. That's not what he looks like.
I recognized John Leguizamo immediately just because all the old stuff from like the 90s, you know, Romeo and Juliet, even the Spawn movie he was in.
Oh my God, Romeo and Juliet and also Moulin Rouge are so good. Anyway,
and Moulin Rouge, yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. The member berries are strong, aren't they?
I know. It's brutal. So you're on a Lin-Manuel Miranda kick, obviously. So
apparently.
And you're waiting to see Dune.
I also, over the Christmas break, I watched both of the new Jumanji movies. Surprisingly.
Oh, they are so good.
They're entertaining for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
What's her name?
The trailers looked so bad that I never watched them when they came out. And then over Christmas, I was like, I need a trashy movie because I don't feel like watching anything good. And then I watched them and was like, wow, these are actually a solid romp. Yep. Way better than Jungle Cruise, which is also one that I watched.
Yep.
I heard the other one was okay, though.
It's not bad.
It's not what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be Indiana Jones meets Romancing the Stone.
Which is kind of what it is. Yeah.
It was more like African Queen, but with The Rock in it.
Yeah. Amy liked it because the only thing she wanted from it was the ridiculous puns, like the terrible puns that you get on the ride, and they did do that.
Yeah.
They had an homage to that in the movie.
Nice.
All right, that's good. Dave, movies. What have you seen that have kept you going?
Well, I did, like I said, I mentioned like Dune's the only one that I've seen, like big movie wise. I don't know. I can't recall. I mean, I've probably seen a bunch of movies recently, but
like new movies. I haven't been. I mean, guys, I wasn't even in a theater. Whatever the last Star Wars movie was.
We watched Spider-Man. I mean, I really enjoyed that just for the nostalgia factor, and I thought it was actually just a well-written movie in general. I can't think of what else. I mean, we've been watching mostly TV shows. I mean, I've been trying to catch up on some of the like the DC animated movies. They've been fun. Shang-Chi was good. I enjoyed that one.
You know, Chibi in the chat just said that the last movie she saw in theaters was Cats.
I know. Was it the butthole cut or the no butthole cut? We need to know for science.
Chibi, that's the movie that started all this in the first place.
That's why it was a butthole cut. I am so sorry.
I have never seen that, nor do I plan to.
No. I've had bouts of morbid curiosity, but I've been able to fight them off and resist.
Me too.
Until this point, and I'm hoping that continues up until I die.
I can't.
Cats and the live action Avatar movie. Those are like the two that I'm like, no.
Ugh.
Oh my god! If we're gonna have a rant about the live action Avatar movie, I can't even. I still have no. Who still has that video? Chris Christian still has a video of me ranting after we saw it in theaters. Like somebody still has me like losing my mind outside of the Cineplex in Guelph over that movie.
I'll bet.
So, it's you. Okay, Lindsay, delete that, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad. I'm pretty glad I didn't go with you guys to see it.
Get rid of that. I need that gone.
Oh, I was gonna
Super
share it.
No.
Don't you hear it? What is wrong?
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
I can just strangle you in like
The people want to see it.
You're a bad person.
When we were talking about X-Men 3, you guys were talking about X3 in your panel yesterday. The only thing I remember about X3 is going to see it with the whole Flash Club and having the attendant come and tell us that if we didn't stop laughing so hard, they were going to have to kick us.
Please do.
We did that though. A whole bunch of us went, like Ange McVeigh and a whole bunch of those people. We all went and saw The Happening. And we literally had to get escorted out because she lost it when they started talking about flipping your neural transmitters. She's a psychology student. She's like, that's not how that works. And they were like, if you're going to throw things at the screen, you better leave.
Yeah.
So that was fine.
It's a good thing the screens are pretty far away.
Lindsay, stop it.
Lindsay, you're a terrible person.
Wow.
You're an amazing person.
I'm so glad I'm already married, so none of this could be used as blackmail at my wedding. Wow. Okay, so we have 10 minutes left. Is there anything we need to wrap up? Also, just point of interest, I don't know if anybody saw the faces I was making at the start of this, but I lost a part of one of the fillings in my tooth from eating something crunchy.
Oh.
So I like picked it out of my teeth on stage. I was like, oh,
That's so metal. That's hardcore.
Hardcore.
Got battle damage from this panel.
Well, why don't we wrap up with like things that we're looking forward to? Like we've seen trailers, we've seen the upcoming information, articles about things that are coming up. What are we excited about that's coming up?
Okay.
I am actually.
You assume that I'm dialed in.
I'm very dialed in. Two things mostly. One, because it looks amazing, and because I worked on a lot of commercials for it, is Peter Dinklage's new movie, Cyrano.
Oh, the Bergerac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like this is what this man can do when he isn't forced to carry the entire weight of a failing fantasy series that's gone on for too long, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah, he looks good.
He looks great.
And also, the other one that I've been looking forward to ever since the beginning of the pandemic that has been pushed because of COVID nonsense is my boy Poirot is back this weekend, actually, on Death on the Nile. Kenneth Branagh's doing another Agatha Christie one after Murder on the Orient Express, and it's Death on the Nile. And I want to see him do that because Kenneth Branagh doing Poirot and the mightiest mustache in the universe is something that I think I want to see again, especially in the theater. Because, it's always, whether it's on the train from the first movie or now it's on a boat or whatever, it's always big and opulent and whatever. And you got to see that on the big screen because you got to see all the fancy details and costumes and whatnot,
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yep. Okay, Terry, we know you're not maybe dialed in, but what are you looking forward to? Come on.
I mean, one day Rogue Squadron might happen.
That is true. It might someday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has a director.
Terry has a director.
It's in the works. It's just I don't know what the plan is.
Well, we don't know exactly how many properties have been bumped for as long as they have. Like I remember seeing a trailer for Top Gun and getting kind of excited about it like 3.5 years ago. It was supposed to come out in 2020. And it's like, it isn't out yet, and it's 2022, but I've finally seen trailers again for it, so it's like, maybe it's going to come out.
Well, you know what happens when something, like, okay, I will say they did Black Widow dirty, right? Like, it wasn't going to come out, it got pushed back, it got bumped up, it got rushed. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it, mostly for Captain Communist, whatever the hell his name was. He was the funniest thing I've seen in a very long time. But, like, they did that dirty because they really rushed production on it at the end. It ended up kind of...
Yeah.
So
was good though. I thought it was a good addition to the Marvel stuff, and very overdue. So
I also don't want to have too many hopes
Jurassic
about
World.
Rogue Squadron.
Jurassic World. Jurassic World.
Yep. What? Oh, Jurassic World. I know Jurassic World. Everybody's losing it over Jurassic
The
World.
chat is going crazy over dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. I want to see Jeff Goldblum. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see him come back and be like, I freaking told you. I told you this is gonna happen.
Isn't Sam O'Neill also back?
all three of them are back. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Oh, it's like a little reunion of the new. It's like I like what they're doing with like all these like reboots or these like where they're rehashing the nostalgia, where they're bringing back like old cast and new cast, and they're all meeting together. It's a formula that we're seeing over and over again, but it's working really well. Like, so why not?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
So, Dave, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I mean, I love dinosaurs, so I have to say that obviously I'm looking forward to the Lost World, Jurassic World. The new Thor. I'm pretty excited for the new Thor.
Oh, yep.
For Thor.
Again, someday that will happen.
Yeah, someday.
Thor.
Yeah. And Doctor Strange looks pretty wild and crazy. My kids are excited for Sonic 2. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I like the Flash character, and I'm excited the directions that they're going with it. So they're bringing back Michael Keaton and other nostalgic type stuff like that. So I don't know. Again, it's kind of like the nostalgia bomb a little bit, where it's like I don't like hard reboots where they completely recast people. I like when they go in their own direction, but I like when they bring back old people to be like, hey, remember us? Even if it's just for a moment. So
Yep. Them member berries.
I just want to see Oscar Isaac as Mark Spector. I just want to see
Oscar Isaac.
I know. Actually, it's just Oscar Isaac. I really don't care about that. That's fine. I'll live.
you got to see a lot of them in Dune.
But I also really like Moon
Because the
Knight.
reason I'm excited about Dune, Dave, I just haven't had the opportunity
Just splayed out for you.
With Moon Knight, the reason I like him is because like, he's just like a Deadpool knockoff. He's really not. You don't know if it's ketamine fueled. You don't know if he's got a psychosis, and you don't know if he actually met a god, or if it's all three of those things, or if it's none of those things. There is no consistency on what the heck is up with Moon Knight, and I love that because it's not even clear in the comic books. So, like, I don't know. Today it's because he believes in himself and the power of.
It's perfect because nobody knows who he is, and they don't know what to expect. So
it's great. I freaking love that. I was like, Encanto is maybe really supportive because we're all really burnt out, but I feel like Moon Knight's going to be really supportive because after 2 years of living in my pajamas, I'm like, who am I anymore? What the hell is going on? So I just find it's relevant. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
thank you this year. That was good.
Ooh, that is good. I hope we see Deadpool and Doctor Strange. They got to start integrating that noise. I just want to see Ryan Reynolds interact with that.
Rights out with that. Are they allowed to do
Disney's
that?
working on it. Like they've got Fox now. They promised that they're going to do more R-rated Deadpool stuff down the line.
Yeah.
But Disney they've learned their lessons with like disasters like Black Widow and Mulan and everything. So now they're really tiptoeing.
Well, and it's like they're playing their little battle with Sony, and they've merging Venom over into the MCU briefly and all that kind of stuff too, right? So it does show that it's possible. It's just whether they do or don't or spend enough money to do it. So
yeah.
Yep. All right. And Lindsay, when does this kick us off? Do we still have
4 minutes?
We have 4 minutes. Okay, great. Because actually, so I think too, Ryan Reynolds has the suit now. I think he could just walk on set and be like, "Oops, sorry, I didn't see you there," and just like walk off again. He would
Free
totally
Guy.
do that.
Oh yeah, Free Guy. That was
I want to see
Free Guy was
his
a phenomenal
Free Guy in the MCU.
How did I forget about Free Guy? I really, really loved Free Guy. You would ask me about what movies I loved. Free Guy was freaking amazing.
Angela, you don't know Free Guy. You're a huge Deadpool, and you don't know Free Guy. You need
I'm
to
not
check
a
out
huge
Free Guy.
Deadpool. I like Deadpool from the movies that I have seen. I've never read a Deadpool comic in my life. I don't.
Okay, I'm saying that if you like the Deadpool movies, you should check out Free Guy.
Check out Free Guy. It is.
Yeah.
It is a good waste of your time for a few hours.
It's free, I think, on Disney Plus.
It is,
soon, I believe.
I think so.
That would be ironic if it was not.
Well, it wasn't for a long time because business is business. But now,
yeah, it's totally worth the watch. It was a great flick.
Yep,
It
is the one about the video game. Yeah.
Okay. I've heard it. I didn't know it was called Free Guy, but I've heard of it. At least I know what it is vaguely.
Yeah, whereas he's the NPC that becomes self-aware or whatever, right? Yeah.
Like a GTA, but like a random NPC that you would run over in GTA has sentience and is Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
It's like 18 plus Wreck-It Ralph. Let's be honest here. It's somebody who's like questioning his place in the universe. He's like, what am I doing?
It is one of those movies where there's a lot of shit that flies past you that you're not going to catch unless you're watching it twice or three times.
Yeah.
I watched to get to the list.
What was that, Dan?
And the director of Thor, name escapes me.
Wait.
Taika Waititi.
Taika
Yeah,
Waititi.
he's in it too, and he plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
He plays a douchebag.
He's so good. He's so good in it.
He plays an amazing douchebag in it.
He's so good in like almost everything I think I've ever seen him in.
Yeah, he also
He's got a new pirate one coming out, which I'm very excited about.
Is he also just the pirate?
He plays Blackbeard, and it's going to be amazing.
that does sound amazing.
2 minutes.
Kanji watch party.
2 minutes. Everybody panic. Ah! Okay. I don't have anything else to say.
Oh, no,
This has
I
been a
can make-
fantastic conversation, guys.
Yay.
Okay.
Yay, I love
hang on.
it.
Years, but
Okay.
What's up next?
I'll be right back.
Not me.
Okay.
Lindsay, what's up next? She doesn't know either. Or she
Oh,
can't.
she does. She's just
Looking it
waiting
up.
for the chat to
Yeah.
catch up.
I
gonna
hope he
kick us
keeps
out.
the Kiwi accent. Yes, he does have the Kiwi accent as Blackbeard, which makes it even more amazing.
I feel something burning. Hold on a second.
Appropriate.
Is it your
Can't
brain?
Hold on, we're gonna get
Is
kicked
it your
out
brain?
soon.
Yeah, we can't hold on. We'll be gone.
Yep, she's gonna come back and we'll be gone.
Yes.
But y'all should stick around because
It's
whatever's
fine.
coming next is gonna be awesome.
My house isn't on fire, but it was close. So reminder to self:
Oh.
check the water in the pot. Oopsies.
Frantic fanfic.
Oh, great.
Yay!
Ooh, Sammy's up next. Y'all gonna love that.
Yeet. All right. Peace out, home slices. I'm gonna go make sure my house doesn't burn down. Bye.
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 Okay, do you want to hit end scene?
And scene
End stream.
and stream. Yeah.